what's something that a producer can do to really help you do your job the best as possible?
Respect my process. I have a process. I stick to it. And good produce. I mean, it's really interesting listening to people talk about helping the creative people, not you guys, helping your directors and everyone on board express themselves. And that's what producers should do, a good producer.
Inbal?
And let me just say also, at least for editing, time is really important.
Yep. Sometimes it's the simple things that need to be stated up front. Inbal?
I feel like it's kind of about the nature of the conversation, because I think with a lot of the creative below-the-liners, it tends to be that one of the first conversations is about your budget. And so if you're not careful, you're already pitting yourself against sometimes producers, or like the conversation starts out in a bit of a confrontational way, because I'm pretty sure there's never enough money. And that's been my experience.
On any film ever. Yeah.
On any film ever. So I think to establish the idea that we're all in it together, and whenever we have issues, it's not just one person's responsibility to solve them, but it's everybody's responsibility. And so once you establish that that is the conversation, I think it's of course more respectful to everyone, but also is in the long run a lot healthier for the film.
Carter?
Well, I'll echo time. There are a lot of quantities that are, you've run up against their limits, money and time being the most common ones. But I think time is the big one. Time, the filmmakers that I like working with will give me the time to do my best, and that's Todd is an example. We on Wonderstruck, I think I had 3 months almost to write it, which is a lot of time, but it was also a lot of music. And no sooner had we recorded it, but Todd and I started talking about what we would do differently, and we ended up recording some more months later. But that's a great privilege, and with the Coen brothers, they cut their films, so they give themselves time, which gives me time, as it so happens. But that's the quantity that seems to get so squeezed, and I would hope it was possible to take that into consideration when developing schedules.
And Timothy?
I like what Graham said earlier about creating an environment that's conducive to creativity, even if it's just by way of a general sense of positivity and a vibe that's open and safe. Just speaking from the perspective of being in front of the camera and the immediacy of that performance. I've been lucky to be working on things with producers that are genuinely passionate about the projects they're working on. And maybe the 2 or 3 things that were maybe bigger budget oriented, or maybe not as unique or something. When there's a cynical vibe on set, and there's a vibe that we're not making, that everybody's not trying their hardest, and that we're not making something special, that rubs off on the performers, that rubs off on the crew members. And I can just tell by the way Graham speaks about his sets, or I don't know what the quote was, I wouldn't be on that kind of set. I wouldn't be that kind of guy, because I don't want to be in those kinds of environments. And I can already hear that kind of set for 3 Billboards was like a positive, supportive environment.
Yeah, wait till you see Frances McDormand's performance.